afternoon, ladies, and and the speaker. I hope we're going to all enjoy this webinar like we always do. And thank you for coming online. And please, you should tell your colleagues that they are missing if they are not joining our webinar. You have a lot of things to learn from us. Let's do this all together. Thank you very much, and have a nice listening of the webinar. Thank you. Merit, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. So, without wasting much time, I will read the citation of our speaker. Ikoinana Ezekiel is a leading Nigerian legal practitioner specializing in data privacy, protection, IT law, and corporate governance. As managing partner at Fevin LP, a pioneering law firm in Nigeria focused on corporate and commercial law, she drives innovation in legal services. Ikoyi Nana is a member of the Privacy Lawyers Association of Nigeria, DPLAN. She also serves as Data Protection Officer at GoLane Limited, ensuring businesses comply with data protection regulations to safeguard customer data. Likewise, Ikoinana has advised numerous fintech, medtech, edutech, fintech companies like Gold Elite Innovative Deals Limited, and even law firms on compliance. Recognized as a rising force in data protection by tech-minded lawyers community in 2024, she mentored aspiring professionals through the Ignite Data Protection Program. She's an active voice in legal and tech communities. She shares insight on data governance and privacy via LinkedIn. And I'm part of her community on LinkedIn, and she's doing so well. With a passion for learning, networking, and excellence, Ikoinana is a key figure in Nigerian data protection landscape. She enjoys physical fitness activities and sporting, and is a player in the NBA female football team, Bayelsa State. During her free time, during her free time, she loves reading novels, watching movies, and spending time with family. With a very, very big round of applause, I welcome our speaker for tonight, for this webinar, for this meeting, Ikoinana Ezekiel. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it very well, but I'm very sorry about that. So, Ma, over to you. We yield the floor to you to come on board and give us what you have for us today. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for that introduction. And by the way, the name is spelled Ikionana. It's pronounced Ikionana, like Kyo. Ikionana Ezekiel. So yes, I think that's the only thing that I have to correct there. Thank you so much for the introduction. And also, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate everyone that has taken time to be here today. So let me see if I can share my screen from my end, and if it's possible, I just go ahead with that. Okay. So please, can you see the screen now, or is it still loading?
Okay, we saw your screen, but we can't see what is on it. Like slide, yes.
Blank right now at the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. The screen is also blank in my end. I don't know, there's something I needed to do.
Hadiza, can you kindly share from your end if you can, please? I've shared the document with you. So help us and share from your end, please. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Now that would be very easy, but my entire screen is blank. I don't know what's going on.
Ma, you can just go ahead and start.
All right, but can you see me? Can you see the
Yeah,
video? Is the video still on?
yes, you're visibly on. We can see you. So
Okay.
while we sort that out with your screen, um, you can, start with us, please. Thank you
All
very much.
right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. The first uh, slide. After the introductory slide, I did post mine, I mean, attendees mind from webinar with some questions in your mind. So for this for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes, I'll be trying to answer these questions in these areas, like what privacy law is all about, what's the career growth trajectory in privacy law practice, how is it like, is it hierarchical, can you just move from stage to stage, do I need to start anywhere I am, doesn't matter if I'm young, doesn't matter if I'm more advanced, maybe in that aspect. We're also going to start, where do I start from? Advantages do I have, what I could use, how can I come in? Yeah.
Hello, can you see the slide? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see the slide. We can see the slide, but I think we lost the speaker. So she will join us shortly, please. Thank you very much, Adiza, for sharing the screen. I appreciate.
So, hello everyone, can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you. We lost you at some point. I think network is playing a fast one. Oh, thank God you're back.
Okay, thank you.
The
So
screen
yes,
is
let's
live. Also connects. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I think network is really playing a fast one on us. That's one of the problems we have in this part of the world. I believe the speaker will sort this out, but for now, just wanted to ask us or beg us to stay with us while this issue is being sorted out. Please, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, please, guys, I'm very sorry about this. The speaker is having network issues. I guess previously she logged in with her laptop, but she said she wanted to use her phone right now to join because of network
Okay.
issues. Her
Hello.
laptop is not working. So please,
Hello.
just give us a little bit of time. Okay, she's here. She's here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hello. I'm really sorry about that break in transmission. I was trying to switch from my laptop. Because the network is not in favor of my laptop. So please, I apologize for that break. Now, I usually share. Hello? still on? So let me know and I can proceed with that.
It's not on, but you can go ahead. She will share it.
Okay.
I'll share it, but keep on doing what you're doing while we sort that out, please. Thank you.
Okay. So I was started out by saying that there are some questions that ask, and I believe that some of us here on this call will probably have the same questions. These are what we would be focusing on for today's conversation: what privacy law is, where it's a full-time job, is it something that can pay the bills? And then if you're a beginner in the space, probably this is your protection and privacy, and you want to give the space a shot, but you don't know, if you're beginning to ask yourself, where do I start? You've started, what's the progression like? Where do I go? Okay, now I've been quite some time now, but I really don't know how to go about it. We're going to also attend to that. Then very important, I convince my clients, my target clients, to believe that I can do, I need to do, what options are open to me. I mean, I've learned a lot, but I've not been able to get clients. I mean, you've learned, but you're not seeing money. You're not serving the purpose. That means the learning is going, just hibernating. So what can you do to get that out of the way? And also, what are the opportunities? What is the market? All the things that we said, introduction to privacy law. Please let me leave a disclaimer. If you're here with a purpose to about privacy laws, no, that's not what we are doing today is basically showing you the light, showing you how to get in. Then when you get in, you can begin to do your own homework to know what to do. So I'm not here to pour out the whole of privacy laws to you today, but I will do my best to touch the surface. So basically, what is privacy? I know you've heard of data protection and privacy, and we're wondering, is there a difference between data protection, and is there a difference between privacy? You might be thinking of all of these things here. And so in simple terms, let's start with what privacy is all about. Privacy is all about. Privacy is all about trying to protect individuals against some form of societal infringements, either by the government on individuals. So one of my favorite mentors, one of my favorite teachers in this space, he says privacy is the protection against certain form of societal infringements on the individual that affects their personal life. So then when you talk about data protection, it's talking about all those measures that are taken to ensure that the privacy of individuals are maintained. So when you hear about privacy and data protection, they are used interchangeably in today's world. Now, there is a background for that use. Why? This is how it started. One of the, if we read into history, if we take a stroll down into history of the English law when it comes to privacy, how privacy developed could be classified into two. Now, for the European experience, you always hear them talk about data protection laws. But for the US, you hear about privacy. That's because of their unique value and their unique experiences. For the EU, that's UK, and other European countries, the concept of privacy became a thing with the Holocaust. You remember that incident about how Jews were locked up, they were identified to belong to a particular ethnic group, age, grade, and all the rest, and they were confined in a space until they were tortured to death. So for them, they wanted to protect the individuals, they wanted to protect institutions and companies. They wanted to protect the individuals against this institutional company. So they focus more on the term data protection of personal information. While when you come to the US laws, which we'll be looking at very shortly after now, their focus is basically on trying to protect the public institution, that's the government, because of the presence of surveillance and a lot of laws that monitor and track individual interactions to try to protect the individuals against prying eyes, aka prying eyes. So there's the right to be let alone and the right to privacy. They've just wanted their private lives to be guarded. So when you talk about these two concepts, basically this is the background. This is for today, these terms, especially for Nigeria, you know the way we are, we imbibe these terms interchangeably. So we use them when you hear me say privacy, when you hear me say data protection, I'm basically saying the same thing. And even our laws, you hear data protection and privacy, meaning that they're trying to combine use of same thing. So what are privacy? What's privacy law basically? Privacy laws are the regulations, the guidelines, the codes of conduct, the directives, guideline notices that are put in place to ensure that the laws, the individual rights and individual personal information is being guarded. Now, in today's world, you may want to ask, why is there so much force over this thing? Everybody seems to be talking about data protection and privacy in today's world. Why is that the case? So why is that the case? The reason is simple. It's because firstly, under our laws, it's a fundamental human rights. And in today's world where we have digital technologies, we can't even take a cup, fresh air. We can't even breathe in and breathe out without talking about technology, especially with how the COVID-19 transcended the entire world into the online space. People began to share their personal experiences, share their personal information, share a lot of information that we now call personal data online. So there became a need for some sort of monitoring, some sort of guideline as to how this information is being guided. Now today is looking a lot like it is a new thing. But if we look at our African culture of protecting our norms and rights, the way they were passed down from generation to generation. When we get to the principles of privacy and data protection, you begin to understand that even in Africa, we know about privacy. You know about privacy, how secret information were given only to certain sets of people. We know our traditional customs and rights that we used to perform. Not every family could do certain things. I mean, most of us in this call, if you're Yoruba, you will understand that there are certain privileges that some families have. Even for the outside group sets, there were a lot of information that were guarded to some people. And let's also look at royalty. I believe royalty is more established in the northern and western part of Nigeria more than it is in the south. You know why? Because they know that this person follows after this person. This person is your time to reign. After this person passes, the information goes on. So privacy and data, there's always been a reason to protect it, but it was something that was not as common as it is today because of the involvement of internet activities and open access information. Everybody is sharing, everybody is using it. Businesses are now using it. So it became a need for privacy to be looked into and considered to be serious business. And also for social interests. When you look about social interests, you really don't want a situation where somebody is prying into your personal life. I mean, because the government said they are beginning to be security conscious, they put surveillance cameras that can pinpoint you inside your room, inside your bedroom. Those are not societal, socially speaking, that's an infringement to your own personal space. And even as an individual, there are some times where you want your personal space. You will tell someone, even if it's your family member, you say, okay, please, can I just enjoy my right to privacy for this particular period of time? I want my private space. I just want to be alone for a particular time. All of these things are like social interests. Then finally, it's leveling the playing field. Because in today's world, like I mentioned earlier, technology is a ball of the game. So if privacy laws are not there, you see that users will have little or no control over what happens to their personal data. The regulator will not even be able to control how companies use our personal data for whatever reasons that they use it for. So these are some of the few reasons I've highlighted to be the importance of privacy in today's world. So if we can, I really hope we could share slides, but it's looking like it's not possible. I wanted us to flow in this direction. So let's look at global privacy laws. In today's world, what are the major laws that we have? The first and foremost that will come to any lawyer's mind in the privacy space, you're trying to enter the privacy space or whatever stage you are, is the fundamental law, the foundational law globally, which is the General Data Protection Regulation of 2018, EU General Data Protection Regulation, popularly known as the GDPR. So when people say GDPR, they are majorly talking about the EU law of that is General Data Protection Regulation. This law basically guides the relationships, the interaction of EU companies. There are about 27 currently. There were 28, but the UK left. So there are now 27 countries in the EU, which they guide. These laws are, this particular law guides their interaction, the sharing of personal information within the privacy space, within these countries. However, these countries who are member states of the EU also have their own privacy laws. Individual countries have their privacy law. Example, Germany has, Austria has, and other countries, Belgium also has their own privacy law. However, it is like a general law for them. And the next is US laws. US laws are, like I said, they focus more on privacy. However, they are more decentralized. While the EU law is centralized, one body is codified, it regulates all sectors. In the US, you have laws that regulate the federal government, laws that regulate educational institution, laws that regulate how children data should be used, and also laws that regulate how the health sector. We have HIPAA, we have FEPA. So their kind of laws are the decentralized system of laws. Thank you so much. She's now sharing the screen. I'm in slide 4 now. So you can go to slide 4 and you'll be able to catch up with us. We have the other countries, like in Asia. A lot of laws are coming up from time to time. Asian laws are also there. I believe Brazil also has their own laws. China also have their own laws. And these laws provide for specific things. They all come from the foundational law, which is GDPR, with some few amendments and alterations to fit in with their environmental and social happenings around the area. Then moving on to Africa. Africa has also been experiencing enormous growth in the privacy space of recent. I mean, they're trying to codify privacy practices, create regulations around them. So we have Kenya. Kenya has a privacy law. Zambia also has a privacy law. Rwanda has a privacy law. South Africa has POPIA. And also all of this, they have so many privacy laws because they're trying to meet up with the advent of the internet, the need for people, and the way information has been shared over the years. Okay, let's go on specifics now. So our country, our beloved country that we are in Nigeria, we have, when we talk about privacy, we stem from the ground norm, which is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 37 specifically provides for the right to privacy and to enjoy personal space, privacy of home, telephone conversations. So drawing from that law, we have mentioned the fact that even in 1999, as far back as 1999, the laws were already there. However, we did not really have any law specifically for that space until we got to 2019, when we had the NDPR, as the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. Fast forward to today, please move on to slide 5. We are on slide 5 now. Fast forward to today, we now have the Nigerian Data Protection Act of 2023, which is the specific law that regulates data protection and privacy in Nigeria today. We also have the General Application and Implementation Directive of 2015. That law was in drafts since last year, but this year it has been made open now. They have done all they need to do. It's no longer a draft, and by September it will become effective. And to that effect, it has also repealed the provision in entire GDPR. So it will become like the implementation framework to the NDPA of 2023. So we have the guidance notices on registration of data controllers and data processors. We also have other laws like the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. We have the Cybercrime Act. We have the Nigerian Communication Commission regulations. We have the Freedom of Information Act. We also have the National Identity Management Commission Act. All of these laws are supplementary laws when it comes to discussions on data protection and privacy. Let's move on to the next slide now. So I want to do an overview of data privacy and protection frameworks globally. So every time you hear of privacy frameworks, I believe you'll be wondering what does it really entail? While I would love to have another class, or if you are someone who follow my activity online, I talk about these things a lot. But for the purpose of this class, it's not based on the details. So I'm just going to breeze through. But if you want insights on all this, you can reach out to me. I'll drop my email address with the coordinator, and you can also follow me on LinkedIn, where I share regular updates on some things. I just make it very simple. So first of all, I'm going to do an overview starting from the key concepts. Now, regardless of the country or regardless of the differences in the laws, these things that I have noted over the last 2 years that I've been working, I have noticed that these things always are included. The first is the identification of personal information. Every privacy law that is ever operating as defined privacy, what data personal information means. They have defined personal information to mean a lot of things, like your name, your email address, your contact address, your images, photographs that I've taken. Some laws have gone as far as saying that social media accounts are personal information. Also, your IP address. Under Nigerian law, your IP address, that's the Internet Protocol address, the thing that identifies your phone and your browser, how you connect to the internet, have been defined to mean as personal information. So to put in simple terms, personal information is any information that can be used to either directly or indirectly identify an individual or make the individual identifiable. So if the information directly, by saying Aishat Umolade Lawal, I have been able to identify that person. That's one. Another one I can directly identify is an image, because I've found a photo shoot from the Nigerian Cultural photo shoot is shown. So with that, I can identify her, right? And also I can identify her if I see her email address somewhere. I can be able to identify her. That is direct means of identification. Then for our address, an address is also a personal information, but it can be indirect, because you cannot simply just see an address somewhere and you will know that this address belongs to her. But if there's a combination of other information, you'll be able to know that this address belongs to Aishat. And that makes it a form of personal information. For social media channels, it's so easy. You can go into somebody's page. If the person is not using what they call no face platform, it will be more less easier. However, that does not stop the fact that you can be identified through your social media channels, and that's why some laws see reasons to say that the social media account should be a personal information. However, not in Nigeria at the moment. So whatever law it is, they define and they try to provide identifiers for personal information. The next thing that I consider as an overview, a key indicator in privacy law is trying to identify key players like the data subject. Who is a data subject? A data subject is the person that owns the personal information that I just described. That is under law a data subject. So when you hear a data subject, I don't want you to think about your sub. No, not that. We're talking about the individual that can be identified by directly or is identified or identifiable either directly or indirectly by a combination of one or more information about that person. Then we also have data controllers and data processors. And who is a data controller? A data controller is an institution, private, it could be public, that determines the purpose of collection. Example, currently we are in this meeting. Who set up this meeting? Who is the organizer of this meeting? You are all members of a particular platform. That means that somebody decides that let's come together to make this platform. And the name of that establishment is the NBA Women Forum Young Lawyers Committee. That makes this committee a data controller. So anybody that determines the purpose for processing personal information is a data controller. Now, if another person, NBA gives this information to another institution to say, help us process this information, they are no longer data controllers, they become data processors. Example, again, is, let's say, for example, the university. You went to the university. The university is the one that determines the purpose for collecting it. It wants for educational purposes. So it collects a lot of student data. And during their exam time, they contact an emailing company to help them move information to the students. What they have done is they have handed over the personal information of the students in the institution to that emailing company to send them updates about their educational materials. In that case, the emailing company that received the information from the university have become the data processor. Now, under law, all of these persons have their different roles and responsibilities. And then the next person that I really want to consider is you and I and what we're trying to become soon. That is a privacy professional. The privacy professional plays a key role because he's the one that is in charge of ensuring compliance with regulatory laws, and also is a bridge between the data controller, is a bridge between the data subject and also the next party, which is the regulatory authority. So we stand in the gap between these three persons and we try to unify them. We try to ensure that there is coexistence in the way data subjects share their information, and also see that information is shared in a very legal and legitimate manner. Then the next person that I talk about is the regulator in Nigeria and also in every country that has solid data protection law. One of the indicators is the presence of a regulatory authority. So if a law is established to regulate data and how information is being shared, used in a particular country, and they've not established an authority, a supervisory authority, that law is seen as not adequate. However, in Nigeria and so many other countries as well, even in the EU law, we have the Information Commissioner's Office. In the US today, they have their own data protection authorities. So all of these laws establish a supervisory authority. In Nigeria, you will hear of the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, that is the NDPC. That is the key privacy regulator in Nigeria. So what other things will you hear about? You also hear about the principles of privacy laws. Now, privacy law, everything is hanging, like the whole spirit of privacy law hangs on the principle of privacy and data protection. When we talk about principles like lawfulness, fairness, transparency, we talk about purpose limitation, we talk about storage limitation, we talk about accuracy and accountability. All of these are principles. Different laws may alter differently. They may say, okay, fairness, they may use a different term, but in all, they border on one of these key principles. In Nigeria and even in the GDPR, we have about 7 key principles. Nigeria added number 8 as ratification, but then looking at it, they still cut across the principle of lawfulness. Lawfulness means that whatever thing you do with the information, whatever thing an individual do with an information should not be against the privacy law or any other law in the country. What does information mean to be fair? Information should be processed in a way that is not detrimental to the data subject. What about transparency? You mean that whatever information that you have of me, or whatever thing that you need to do with my information, you should let me know. We should be very open about it. If there's a reason why you're not telling me, that means you have a skeleton in your cupboard. And that would mean that your processing of information is not in line with the principles. We also have something like purpose limitation. Purpose limitation is saying collect information for a specified purpose and don't go and use it for something else. So if you say you're collecting my information to help me register as a student, don't go ahead to collect my information and start processing a wedding arrangement for me with my family members, because somehow you people just feel that, this person needs to be married. And then you're busy matchmaking with my personal information. Why? That was not the purpose for which you collected the information in the first place. So stick to the purpose. Another is storage limitation. It means that you should store information for a short period of time, not longer than necessary. After you use my information and you ended the use and you've archived it for whatever reason, delete it after a particular number of years. Some countries provide for 6 years, some for 9 years, some for 7 years. But all in all, they are still talking about the principle of purpose limitation. We also have accuracy. Information must be accurate. Now, if I was to take Aishat's name as an example, and I say Aishat Umolade Lawal, and I decided that for some reason Aishat Merit sounds better, and I go and change Merit Aishat's name and I added Merit, the information is no longer accurate. So under our laws, the principle of accuracy is key. And then we have accountability. The next thing that you would see in privacy law generally is also a lawful basis for processing data. Whatever reason that is making you to process data, it must fall in line with either of these. Either it should be contractual, it should be legal obligation for the interest of the public, or for the interest of third party, or simply consent because I allowed you to. Another thing in privacy law that we can consider is the rights of data subjects. Every law provides for specific rights: the right to access, the right to consent, the right to rectification, right to deletion, and right to, all of these rights are provided in different privacy laws. Privacy laws also look at data security, either technical measures like encryption, pseudonymization, all of these mechanisms for ensuring that data should be secure. And then we have organizational means, like something like this that I could do for your organization, train your staffs to make sure that they know what privacy laws say, and how privacy information within the organization can be used in a way that is in line with the law. And then we have access control. Mark some documents as confidential and some as, right, good to go. So all of these are organizational measures that can be taken. Like I said, privacy law also ensures that these things are followed to the letter, regardless of country. We also look at cross-border data transfers. In every law globally, they monitor how information is moved from countries, in between countries. We have intra and inter. Inter transfer is when you have like a group of companies, and let's use First Bank, for example. First Bank Holdings have other subsidiaries. Now, you as a bank customer, you are banking with them, but you're not making use of any other of their companies, right? And they want to move your information from the bank to another sector, let's say their insurance sector, they have intra-cross transferred your information. However, inter-cross-border transfer happens where countries are involved. So they just take the whole information that they have and move it to a different country. In that case, there's a inter-cross-border transfer. So every privacy law will definitely look at that. Then we have the practical mechanism for organizations like the registration, DPIAs, third-party processing agreements and contracts, and then training. So all of these things that ensure that the information, the organization, that's data controllers mostly, are in compliance with privacy laws. And then you also talk about enforcement. One of the reasons why most of us heard about privacy laws is when they heard that WhatsApp was going to be banned from Nigeria, and everybody was concerned, why are they banning them? Why are they banning them? Because of privacy law. Most persons, due to the low level of knowledge, were saying, why would they fine WhatsApp that huge amount of money? But compared to what the EU has fined WhatsApp before and they have paid, that money is small. So enforcement mechanisms are also part of what makes privacy frameworks in different countries. Like they can levy actions against them, they can sue as a privacy data subject who feel that your rights in privacy have been violated. You can sue the organization. Let's say you will find out that they have sold your information to another company that's using it for commercial purpose without letting you know. You can take an action against them. You can also lay a complaint with the regulatory authority, which is the NDPC. The NDPC can either make fines, sanction, enforcement order, telling them that they should comply, or simply they could just issue compensations. I believe recently there was a railway station that did some funny thing with information that was within their hands, and they were asked to pay compensation to these people whose informations were being mishandled. So all of these are there. And also you have lots of laws, directive, codes, guidelines that exist just because privacy is a key factor in today's world. So that's an overview. I just gave you a crash course on what to so all of these key areas are issues on. Now that we are here, space. See what next. So let's go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. Slide 7. All right, so we've spoken about we've looked at a lot of areas familiar to succeed in this. So you want to talk about your legal research and writing skills. And by the way, I want to mention here that to enter into the privacy space to practice as a privacy professional or whatever role you find yourself playing, as I will be talking, I will mention the person doesn't have to be a lawyer. So I'm looking forward to times where, as we advance in our privacy space, some individuals who are not lawyers would try to make wave. However, lawyers are more successful in it because you cannot talk about privacy compliance without talking about privacy law. And who else has the knowledge of the law more than lawyers? Okay? So lawyers are the ones that tend to thrive in the privacy space. However, it's not a rule of it must be a lawyer. However, people who are privacy professionals or take up any role in the relevant laws and knowledge of relevant laws and how they apply. You also need critical understand to help understand and also for application of the laws and regulation. Another thing that is highly needed is communication skills, communication and presentation skills. Let's take, for example, this webinar we're currently holding. If I do not have in me the relevant know-how to present this information to you, or probably I did not have the relevant know-how to do it before Merit saw me and said, okay, let's reach out to this person.
I would not have been able to come this far. So you need to have communication. You need to know how to communicate both your knowledge and also your understanding of your team. Because as you have to make the top level management, those within your team, and also those below your team to understand these practices, the best practices in privacy space. So you need to have ample communication skills. The next is collaboration. I've already mentioned it in passing that you need to work. So if you can collaborate with different departments in the organization, especially if you find yourself in a space where you have to work with a large group of people work. And to an extent, you need to be tech savvy. You need to be tech savvy, you know why? Because you need to operate technology ecosystems. Most of these privacy concerns come from internet use and the use of personal information platform to even make a report. Are you preparing some kind of documentation in compliance? You need some skills in Excel or some skills to know how to use your Microsoft document very well, or any other documentation you want to use. For example, you want to set up a Zoom meeting with the executive members in another country. You need to do all that technology works in today's world to help. Please carry out the career opportunities in the ones that provide information, that rely a lot on information. They will need somebody with knowledge, guide them. This is what happened from experience. My friend was a lawyer. He was an in-house counsel. He started as an in-house counsel in the company. And for some reason, he just decided education just to know, because about privacy compliance in the organization. And he told them what to do, offered solutions. And that was how they attached the position of a privacy compliance officer to him. And came the increase of salary. And the pay was looking very, very fine there. People are taking vacation. Anyway, is that you can work with, even if you're an in-house counsel at the moment, you need this knowledge to properly advise people, because every organization that is not exempted from having privacy compliance practices must have someone who guide them that way. Next person is data protection officer, which I am acting as. Now, as a data protection officer, this is a creation of law. Remember when I was talking about the key stakeholders in the privacy space? The data protection officers are required. I mean, most laws, almost I can say all privacy laws, provide for the designation of a data protection officer. Now, the nomenclature may be different. Some may say chief information officer, others may say chief security officer. But what they are meaning for Nigeria is the data protection officer, which is the DPO. What's their function? What's the role? The role is to advise on compliance and privacy, to monitor top executive and how personal data within the organization is used. And also you have to act as a liaison officer between the regulator, the data subject, and the company. This is a role that has been created strictly from privacy law. I believe in Nigeria, before 2019, this role does not exist. Does not exist in Nigeria, but right now, if you pick up privacy laws, you see that every institution is mandated. And I am telling you, in Nigeria, we do not have up to, I don't think we've gotten up to 1,500 data protection officers certified as Nigerians in Nigeria. Most of the DPOs I know of, even for myself, they work from outside the country. So if you could get into this role, get a qualification for yourself, which we will talk about next, as a consultant or analyst. I consult for law firms, and I see how I can help people with paid trainings, not in this way, of course, in a way that goes in line with hello, please, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? Okay, because Merit is saying that she cannot hear me. The network has gone off. Please,
On my
if
side,
you
I
cannot
can't
hear
hear you. I
me,
don't know about other people.
Yes, we can hear you. You can
please,
carry on.
can any... Uh, okay, thank you. Thank you, Tans. This would mean that you have a full-time offer, but somebody like me that likes flexibility, I would rather do it in contract. Then you can also be a legal advisor at regulatory authorities. Even the NDPC, which is a regulatory body, has a data protection officer. So for public institutions or whatever privacy, you could act as a privacy and legal advisor. Then we also have academia and thought leadership. One person that will easily come to mind is in Nigeria is Dr. Olumide Babalola. That is one person that has established himself in the academia. He has written a lot of articles. I think one of the first books on privacy in Nigeria is authored by him. So you can go through the academia handle action, even in privacy space. When I started at privacy, is it because you are going away from mitigation? I thought on privacy, well, not very pronounced in Nigeria, but there have been quite a number of cases regarding privacy in this country. And people always fall to the constitution without understanding the rudiments of privacy law. Now, if I was to sue, if somebody was to sue someone because he found out that they are sharing their information with another person, or you found that somebody mishandled your information, an institution, if you were to sue, the best person that could help you is not just any other lawyer. If you contact a privacy professional who can take up the matter for you, person would most likely have an opening, you will have an understanding of what transpired in the company and be able to raise those claims. Then also we have compliance officers, we have AI compliance officers, we have regulatory compliance officers. All of these are options that you can take up. Now, one thing that you can do, just go to one of all these job sites and type in jobs related to privacy. Aside from those ones I have mentioned here, I am sure that other roles will come up for you to explore. And when you look at those areas, you would see that they will give you some requirements. What you can do as a guide, what helps me and still is helping me now is what I do is when I Google a particular role, I go and look at their requirements and I examine the ones I have, those I don't have, and those that I need. So I begin to plan my activities, plan my learning, plan my curriculum to ensure that I follow up with these relevant skills that would make me, an employable prospect. I'll be someone that can be easily employed. So if you're looking into the private space and you're wondering what career path can I take, what's the name for us, generally privacy professionals, how can I enter into this space? you can simply do this simple math I've given to you. You can also go on LinkedIn or search bar and search for a particular privacy role. You will see a lot of job descriptions. You'll see a lot of roles with descriptions and their requirements. They'll be able to guide you as to what to do. I'm moving on to the next. So how do I start? I have known that there is this thing called data protection officer that the law, which is the NDPA in Nigeria, has mandated that every organization should have. And when they start getting serious with it, like I mentioned, we are still scarce. They're not even up to 1,500 data protection certified officers in Nigeria yet. So how do I do that? First thing you can do, like I did, I started with a scholarship. We are in slide number 9 now, so could you please move to slide number 9? I started my part with a scholarship from the Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Please, can anyone hear me? If you can hear me, please let me know you can hear me. Hello.
Okay, we can hear you, ma. It was breaking at some point, but we can hear you now.
Okay.
Please, if you could repeat the former thing that you said, because we didn't hear at some point. Thank you.
Okay, which particular one?
You were
Can you
talking
remember
about you were talking about a scholarship, something like that, and then it just went off. So if you could repeat from that point on.
Okay, but I was still on pathways to start a career in privacy law, right?
Yes, you were. So that was
Okay.
where the network went off. Yes.
Okay. So what I was saying is this, that the first thing you should do is to take foundational courses in privacy and data protection. I mean, they are I'm saying this because I will reveal why, and you will get to understand with me. I'm saying foundational because it can get really complex really quick, and you need something basic. I made a suggestion. Someone at the I think sometime last year, someone reached out to me saying that he wanted to learn. And I gave him the course that I learned from. And he said, no, this course is for intermediates. I've not gotten here yet. I needed a beginner course. So from experience, if you're breaking into this space, you need a foundational course. So for me, I started with a scholarship. Back then, NDPC was doing this digital training for young professionals, and I was still in NYSC. So I said, this one that, and it's not as if I had all the time in the world. I did not. I was working 2 jobs at that time. I was working online. I was working physical office. So, and then I just found a way. I know I sacrificed a lot of movie time. I sacrificed a lot of outing time, hangout time to learn all those things. But I did take the courses, and it helped my understanding. I did not want to rush it, so I took it from the basics. Take foundational courses. They are less expensive. Look out for Coursera. Go to Coursera. Go to Udemy. All of these online platforms. Or you can even, let me give you one free insight. Go to YouTube. YouTube has recordings of a lot of institutions that have conducted training and webinar on specific topics, different areas in the privacy space. And you'll be able to, get real-time experience. People share this knowledge with you. You can sit for 3 hours. I believe I was on I was on YouTube. What I wanted to learn was the economic importance of data protection and privacy. I just went in, Googled it, like searched for it on YouTube, and I found a training that was conducted less than a month ago. It was a webinar, but they brought experts in it, and they had uploaded the course, and it was for 3 hours. I had to listen. I had to learn. I had to know what was happening. How could I tell somebody in the organization that this is why you should take privacy serious if I did not know the economic importance of it? So that's what I did. Now, to why I said you should do that is the next thing is obtain a certification. Now, for a Nigerian to obtain a certification, the least qualification, the least amount you spend is about 250,000 naira. Now, as a young lawyer, now I want to be very, very positive that some of us have good money, they have good clients still, that are paying us so well, they are working in good law firms that can sponsor us. You can foot the bill to pay 250,000 naira for a course. So you can take on certifications like the CIPM, that is Certified Information Privacy Professionals in different countries. You can take for Europe, you can take for USA, you can take for South Korea. You can even take for Canada, depending on your budget. So you take on certifications. You start by looking for certifications. Now, the institutions that give certifications, we have Nigerian privacy institutions, but those that are recognized globally, you might want to try out ISACA. Just Google ISACA. It's spelled ISACA, or Google IAPP, that's the International Association of Privacy Professionals. You can also Google other certification courses that will help you to understand to be qualified in Nigeria. You can also take up Privacy Academy Nigeria. There is this one, the one that I have a certification with. What's the name of this institution? International Institution of Information Management. Institute of Information Management, that's IIMS, sorry. So that institution certifies people in Nigeria to operate as data protection officers. Nigeria is also launching the Privacy Academy. However, I heard, for whatever reason, that they are not going to give you a certification as a data protection officer. I'm wondering what the essence is, but that's what they do. And the next thing you can do is do what you're doing right now. You can participate in webinars, you can participate in workshops and conferences. I had to force myself. I took a lot of expenses to make sure that I attended so many conferences. And one of the reasons why I came into the privacy space is because of a conference I attended in 2022 and 23. I attended a conference and they were talking about rapidly developing areas in law, and I heard about privacy. And I was like, what is this thing about? And I started reading about it. I started attending webinars. And when that scholarship opportunity came, I was more than happy to attend those foundational courses. And when it was time for me to start acquiring privacy certifications, I started budgeting for them. I have a budget of about ₦1 million this year. God will help me. About ₦1 million for certification this year. So in addition to those that I already have, just to keep up with what's happening in this trend. You can also do internship. Please, I know that we're all young lawyers. I want to believe that we are young lawyers here, so it's simple. Take up internship opportunities that you have with an institution to act in that role. This gives you the opportunity to work with experts in the field and that are into law firms, or if you want to work with a law firm, you want to work with an organization, just take up internship opportunities to boost up your experience on it, practical experience, get hands-on experience. You can also attend mentorship programs. I personally have not started any mentorship programs. If you are reaching out to me for mentorship next year when I start, so I want you to, I want mind this lawyers community. That is a community where we have this privacy wing of it that talks about privacy. You can join the group, you can participate in webinars and training. Currently, they are going to have a privacy program, a boot camp very soon, and the price is very, very affordable. When I say very, very affordable, remember I told you the list is 250,000 naira. Now somebody is planning to do it for as low as 10,000 naira for young lawyers. So you would want to for non-lawyers. So for lawyers, it could be about, I think, about 20,000 and above. So it's quite affordable. If you can take the training. And we're partnering with NDPC, so you are definitely taking the foundational course that will boost your knowledge. And also you can join professional communities. Currently, I am a member of the Privacy Association Lawyers of Nigeria. Association of Privacy Practitioners of Nigeria. So when you join these associations, they will help you. ISACA, for example, is an association of privacy professionals. They also give courses, but basically, when you join communities like this, you get into the conversation. They share updated information. You can also get this opportunity to work, get your hands into the work. I mean, hands-on experience, because these people, they constantly share information from time to time. So you can engage in conversations from time to time. Before you know what is happening, you've started moving into the space fully. And then the thing you can do is you can join professional networks, join professional network and communities. Look, I think that's where I am. Also, you have to be flexible. I think you're talking to clients that are not in Nigeria. Our time frames are different. So 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m., you're trying to close a conversation. So it needs flexibility. You need to be able to move. If the client is saying this is that, how flexible are you? Probably you're being someone who is so engaged in litigation and you want to come into the privacy space where you do not have a lot of litigation. How do you do that? How do you monitor? How do you adapt to the situation? You have to be able to do that to succeed in your journey. All right, so challenges. We cannot talk about all these opportunities and not know that there are challenges before us. And for me, these are the challenges that I feel that most people have. The first is limited exposure in law school. Now, we know that law school never mentioned anything about privacy. I even doubt if law school talks about cybercrime or information security or mechanisms for entering things like this in the tech space. Law school didn't prepare you for any of that. Actually, I could say that law school doesn't even prepare you for practice aside from the knowledge of the law. Your practical, the business side, nobody tells you about that apart from one that we did in ethics, where we did the equipment, office equipment, types of practices. That's as far as they went. But talking about the business, they didn't even prepare us for that. So these are things that I feel students are have face drawbacks on this area. For me, I got lucky. In my university, from my year 1, I did computer application to law. My year 2, I did cybersecurity, cybercrime, and information security. So from my university days, I had background knowledge. I just very quickly now, I university did some homework for me, and I was able to participate actively back then. So I thank God I did that. So it was another thing that I feel is your personality. You could experience some imposter syndrome. I mean, I'm a young lawyer. What do I know? Senior lawyers have been here for 20 years. Or what do I know that I want to talk about? My dear, go and read about data subjects. What does data subject mean? Understand it. I just talked about it as any information that can be used to identify a person directly or indirectly. As far as I either directly or indirectly, it's personal. So I mentioned, right? So when you look into it, does it become strange to you? It no longer becomes strange to you. So you can now say that, okay, I know what personal data is, I know what personal information is. Then somebody now asks you, what are the laws? I say, which one is laws again now? We have mentioned laws in this class. You go back to my slide, which I will share, by the way. And you begin to read these laws, what the laws say, what provisions are. You are taking it gradually, step by step. Before you know, your knowledge is expanding and your knowledge base is growing. And the next thing you need is to practicalize this knowledge. Another challenge that we have is the regulatory changes that happen. Now, when I started, there was the 2019, there was the GDPR. 2023, there's the NDPA. Now, there is there is a guide, which is the general application and implementation directive. So laws keep changing, and if you problem, so you need to constantly read, you need to constantly not lie. Mentorship is important as a lawyer, and even as a privacy lawyer, or regardless of any field you want to go into, it is key. So we need to consider who are your mentors. This is what I did when I started. Practical experience for me is I was so lost. I didn't know what to do. Thank God for the internet. One thing that has saved me and has brought me thus far is my ability to Google. Every vague to you, just go on Google and type. Use your keypad, beautiful keypad, to type what you want to know, how to do this. If Google is not giving you, go to YouTube. If YouTube is not giving you, enter Pinterest. If Pinterest is not giving you, go to LinkedIn. Search for the information that you want to know. Search for people. People are giving back-to-back information out there. Now, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I am always talking about privacy. There is no way you will not hear something new one day that you haven't known. So when you see these people, what I did was I followed Daniel Solo. When I Googled privacy lawyers, I saw a lot of people, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm not alone in this. So this is not as new as I thought. I even found out that I have competition eventually. I'll be like, oh, really? I went into this search for people. I wanted for mentors, literally. And I never sent any message saying, please come and mentor me. That's me run away message. I will run away. Can you hear me now?
Okay, ma, I was thinking across it. Okay, yeah, we can hear you because we weren't hearing you at some point, like we lost you totally.
Okay. Okay. So please, at what point did you stop hearing me so I know I can recap if need be? At what point did you stop hearing me?
Okay, I think you were talking about the challenges, ma.
This
The
is
fact that the
Tokini, can you
internet,
hear me now?
well,
Saying you could not hear me. Can you hear me now?
we
Yes, I
can
can
hear
hear
you
you.
now. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So what points could you not hear me? So I know where I was recapping from.
You were talking about the fact that internet was one of the things that helped you. That you just you usually check the internet for things you need, maybe to browse up a mentor and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yes, I think so basically what I did was to look for those people that were already in the field, that were advanced. I learned from them. I read their articles, and whatever I read, I took steps to go back and verify, and that was it. So the breakthrough for me came when I volunteered. I started as a volunteer data protection officer. That was it. So when I got the appointment as a volunteer, from appointment as a volunteer, I attended another conference that made me to meet my first paying client as a privacy professional. Now, all of this happened within a space of 1 year. So if you're trying to build, I would want to say trust. If you're really wanting to build trust, you have to be consistent with what you do. Not today you're talking about privacy, tomorrow you're talking about something else. You're calling yourself today something, you are calling yourself today, tomorrow you're saying about something else, you're talking something totally different. You have to, if you want to be consistent, especially in the online space, you have to build trust. You have to be consistent. People have to know you for this thing. Go ahead to make sure that you prove it. When you're called upon, you deliver with excellence. There's nobody that does not like. Let me just answer that question now. Here's what happened. I attended a conference. I registered with my details. After the conference was over, about a month after the conference, a company sent me a message saying that they are from so they are partners with the company that organized the conference I attended, that they want to talk about a travel agency. That means that the organizers of that conference shared my information with their partners without letting me know. There was no provision, there was no privacy notice on their website, nothing. And they went to IT. No, I did. I was very audacious. I contacted the organizer of the conference. It was not a privacy conference, it was just a normal conference because I like networking. I love networking. In fact, I live to network. I used to be a shy person. I'm an introvert, yes, but I cast that net out of my life and I go and meet people. I always want to look out to meeting people. So if you're in this space, I am open to you sending me DMs. You can ask for my details. You can just Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
You
can
went off. You went off for some
hear me?
seconds.
I think I got a call. Okay, so I got a call, so I quickly cut the call. So what I was saying,
Okay, ma, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. I don't know if you're still on the call. We can't hear you. I think she is no longer here. I think she has been logged out. So please let's be patient. Network can be very messy sometimes.
Yeah,
I think
every
she was logged out. So
okay. Can you hear me now? Oh,
yeah, yeah, we can hear you. Thank you very much. We can hear you.
okay. Hello, can you hear me now? I think I'm back on.
Yes, we can hear
Uh,
you. We can hear you.
okay. So what I said I did was I sent a message to the organizer and I told him
Okay, we lost her again. I think network is a little bit somehow this evening because even me, I don't even have a single bar in my network bar. That's my SIM card. I'm using Wi-Fi to connect to those things. So network is really bad this evening. But hopefully she'll be back very soon. She'll be back soon.
hello.
Yeah. This network is really it's something else this evening.
Yes, it's acting up. Thank God we are coming to an end. So I
Mm,
back to what I was saying. So I sent the organizer a message telling him about the dangers of what he has done and how he could be sued and if I wanted to take an action. But I said I wasn't going to take an action. What I needed is let them talk to their privacy professionals to ensure if they have a data protection officer. He said we don't have. And I was like, oh, can I volunteer to act? And if you are okay with this, I can transition into a full-time staff in your organization. And that was how I got that volunteering role. And that role challenged me a lot because I wanted to practicalize everything that I've been learning in the last 1 year. And when he saw the work I put into today, I'm still working with them. I'm still working with them till today. So I started with volunteering role. I started by being um, willing to share and willing to educate. So I could just share. If you notice that something is not up, when I was taking a particular training like that, they said that if you notice that an organization defaulted, you can send them like a notice of what they have done and proper solutions. It's just like how if you, I don't know if we have Bible scholars here where Joseph interpreted the king's dream and he said, okay, you're the only person that knows the interpretation of this dream. Why don't you make it come? So you could look like it's strange, but don't be afraid to share what you know, no matter how little. And at that time, I was telling that organizer of the conference, this is why you have gone wrong. And I was hoping that your privacy professional could have told you better, advised you better on what to do. I did not know everything about the law. I did not. Honestly, I did not. And even to today, people are asking me, are you a beginner? I'll tell you I'm a beginner. I'm a beginner. I'm still learning because I have a lot of things I'm projecting for. So that was how, for me, that was my own entrance points, volunteering. And with volunteering, I was able to prove my credibility and people started trusting me with the work that I do. And also another thing that I would say is if you're breaking into this space, use social media. Use social media. If you're not using social media, the next thing you can do is make networks. As simple as it looks, go to industry events, talk to people. Privacy is more pronounced in the tech space. If you're in Lagos, Kano, Abuja, all of these states that they are, even in Port Harcourt, I am in Bayelsa. Bayelsa is considered as a state that they do not do these things. Yes, I'm telling you that this is possible. So how about you if you find yourself in another state? Why can't you use the platforms that are available to you? Network with people, Go to places both physically and online so that you will build with people. And the second paying job I got came from that conference I went to. Remember, I said I went to a conference where the convener shared my information and I became a volunteer. Now, from that volunteering opportunity, somebody that works with the convener was the first person that gave me a paying job as a private consultant. Then the next place I got a paying job was on LinkedIn. Somebody reached out to me saying that I've seen an article, a particular article you released about registration as a data controller. How do I do it? I got a paying job. The next paying job too was online. Somebody clicked the link in my bio for registration because he saw that I've been sharing information about compliance. That is it. So for me, online space has been my use place. If I was in Lagos, I would not bother too much because I will basically be attending events, networking, going for sit outs with tech people or people I am targeting. You understand? So build that trust, build that network, communicate with like-minded people, and you will be able to break in either way. You'll find your way through. And then, so in conclusion, I said privacy law is an evolving field. Whether it's been there or not, it's been an evolving field. So equip yourself with knowledge, skill, and network. Be proactive and intentional about your growth and be committed. And I've said here, start now. The opportunities are real and reachable. And then the only limit that truly exists is the one that you set for yourself. So thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you, everyone, for being on this call for almost 2 hours. This is where I draw the curtain, and I'm handing over to Aishat and Merit. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you very much. Ikionena. I'm sorry. Let me just be using the word IK. I think I prefer that so that I won't murder your name. Thank you so Thank you very much. This is very eye-opening. This is very eye-opening. I learned a lot from the theoretical aspect of it, where you talked about what is privacy, principles of privacy, and all. Then you delved into the domain of the practical aspect, belonging to organizations. You know, try to learn. Google some stuff, go to YouTube and learn. Then you now went into the networking part of it, getting the money, securing the back aspect of it. So it's really a full package. And we do appreciate you sincerely. We are happy to have you sincerely. And I must say to everyone listening that I got to know about you from LinkedIn. Yes, um, IK is my friend on LinkedIn, and we've been there for I think I've been following her for like 2 3 years now. Okay, and she has been talking about privacy. Okay, she said at some point she started talking. She was talking about young lawyers, kind of, because we got to talk before she came on board to speak. So she said she was talking about young lawyers at some point. Then she now transitioned from there to talking about privacy. And I have followed her over the years. She has been consistent, talking about privacy law, talking about everything about privacy. There's a way she count her content. Sometimes she will bring in some stories around this, and you will think she wants to talk about another thing. She will end up talking about privacy. There was this story she talked about cookies and sweet and all. So I didn't even know she was trying to draw it back to narrow it down to privacy law until I read the post to the end, only for me to discover that she was talking about privacy law. Oh my God. So she's really good. And, the essence of inviting somebody young, not like we don't have all those old persons in privacy law who are doing very well, but the essence of inviting these young persons to come on board is to tell us that we as young lawyers, we as young female lawyers can actually do these things. Now you saw how she grew from the ground up. She was open to learn. She was open to network. Of course, she said that she was an introvert before now, but she didn't allow that to limit her. She decided to, walk over that. She was open to learning, open to network, open to, dig the ground to be able to know what this profession is all about. And she didn't just stop that. She went beyond that to go to, getting certifications and all. Okay. So her proactivity and the audacity has really earned her a lot. And it's something we too can also do. Okay. Something all of us can do. It's possible if you want to break into this particular field of law. Because uh, for me, privacy law is one part of law that also you can work with tech companies, you can work with, different types of it, because most organizations collect data. So long as you're an organization that is collecting data, you need a privacy practitioner. Okay, you can work with, fintech, help people, and or in fact, there's this meeting this mentorship program I did with JPC, and I learned about the basics of data privacy, and I've started using it. In fact, at some point, I went to hospital and they were demanding for a particular data. I told them, this data is not relevant. I'm not giving it to you people. It's not relevant. Okay, so you can actually not just to serve your clients, you can use that to serve yourself. You know your rights, your privacy rights, and all. In fact, there was a time I went to First Bank and they were doing some funny stuff. Um, they were just collecting data that they were not relevant to what I came there to do. And I was questioning them. They were like, Madam, these people are doing this thing. You know, this take it or leave it policy. And I was telling them, I know my rights. I know my data privacy rights. So don't even go there. Okay, because some of these data breaches occur because nobody is talking about it. Okay, by the time we know our rights and we start talking about those things, people will start learning. So thank you, IK, for this wonderful presentation. So we want to take questions. The audience are already saying thank you. Is it Harry said, wow, that's great. Thank you for sharing that story. Thank you. Chiamaka said thank you. Olusegun said thank you so much for the insightful session, ma'am. And also thank you for the connection request on LinkedIn. So we are grateful. We are so grateful. So I want to entertain questions. If you have any question, you can drop it in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask your question. Our speaker is here ready to take your questions. If you have any questions, please drop it in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask your question, please. Our time is already fast spent. We are almost clocking 2 hours in this section, so I don't want us to exceed our time duration. So please, if you have any questions, please kindly unmute and ask your question.
Can anyone hear
Thank
me?
you very much.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ike, for this session. It was really insightful. I actually learned a lot. I have been into data privacy for some time now, and I have taken some courses, and I also have some certifications.
Hello, are we still there?
I don't think she can hear me. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you. Aishat, I can hear you.
We can hear you,
Okay.
please.
So,
Thank you. So
let me just ask this question. Since
I don't think Mary can hear us.
my people are not ready yet, maybe when I ask my question, the thing about asking questions. So let me just ask this question. So I noticed that as a data protection officer, data privacy officer, there are some there's the way you work with organizations to get like kind of a certificate, like what they do in, would I call it similar to CAC stuff, like getting a certificate for a client for data something. I don't know how those things work. Like for you to work with organizations, do you need to be accredited with data protection organization of Nigeria? For you to get data protection or data privacy certificate for your clients, you need to get accredited. Are there things that you need to do to be able to be doing those things for clients beyond the advisory part of it, and the paperwork aspect of it? Is there a certificate that clients get for for data protection too?
Okay, first of all, when there's this thing they call registration as data control and data processor of major importance, yes, that's what you're asking on, I believe. When you register, there are some requirements for registration.
Okay, you can go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? Merit, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can go ahead. I don't know if our speaker is on.
Okay, so I said that
you can go ahead.
Okay, please, Aisha, can you hear me? Since Merit can. Okay.
I can hear you.
All right. So for the data controller and data processor of major importance, is the registration requirements under the law. So you need to register institutions that process personal information of up to 200 and above in the last 6 months need to register as data controllers, data processor. Now that registration comes with a license. So you are given a certification licensing you to process personal information. So it's one
I can hear you. I'm on. I can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you too. So it's
Hello?
one of the. We can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello?
I think her network is slow, so she gets all these things late.
Yes,
Probably
I think
that's
her network is
Okay.
slow. If she
I'm
can
going to
maybe
try and
log back,
message her. Maybe
log
she
out and
can.
log in.
Okay.
If she can maybe log out and log back in because her network seems to be slow and it's not catching up.
Yeah, I think so too. That means you probably is not hearing all this explanation I've been doing so far. Ash. So, Merit, can you go ahead and Ashat, can you please go ahead and ask a question?
Okay, thank you. My question is under getting to create a career in data privacy and protection, you mentioned that we should try and get certificates and internships. And honestly, I have a lot of certifications, but it's been hard getting internships. So I wanted to ask if you have any tips regarding that. Maybe there are some organizations that are taking like virtual interns, because I already have like a job already, but I'm trying to like get more into the field. So maybe you have any idea on how to like get internships, virtual internships in data privacy and protection. Thank you.
Okay, the best way you can go about that is to use LinkedIn. There are a lot of internship opportunities that they talk about. But Olumide Babalala and Co does internships. Some of these top tier law firm does internships from a particular section of the year. So I'm believing that from the first part of this year, for this year, I've not really come across a lot of internship opportunities, but maybe the second half of the year, they'll start posting about internship opportunities. You can also take care. So you just keep your eyes open, or you can do your own findings. Go on YouTube, sorry, not YouTube, go to Instagram or LinkedIn and Google internship opportunities. Then you probably come across so many of them are seeking out for internship. That's how I would do it if I was looking for internship opportunities. I mean, just keep your eyes open for announcements in that regard. Or if you know anybody in the privacy space that if you're audacious enough, tell them that you have so certification. Approach the institution you want to work with. Look them in the eye and tell them, I have acquired this and this. If it's possible, I could attend with you. It's as simple as it gets. The worst answer you can get is a no. So is that you look out or you take the bold step, take the bold while you're on and reach out to them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I feel like that's very useful advice. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you,
Any other
Aisha.
question?
I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry about my network. So I asked a question. I don't know if it has been answered, but our time is fast spent. This is almost 5 o'clock, and I don't want us to encroach beyond this. But if nobody has any other question, or if you do have questions, you can actually send it to me, and I'll send to the speaker, and that will be sorted out. You can also reach out to her on LinkedIn. The name you are seeing on the screen right now is her name on LinkedIn, so you reach out to her and you can take the conversation further. So I think we'll be drawing the curtain here. And I want to appreciate everyone that stayed with us. Yes, I want to appreciate everyone. I want to believe that this session was a very insightful one. I learned a lot. Yes, and I believe we all do. Uh, so the ball is now in our court to do further findings, further research, because of course what she said to us today is not exhaustive. Our own is to lead you into the path. But for you to continue in the path, for you to excel and thrive in the path, you need to do your own path, which is the research, the learning, the networking, the certification aspect of it, just like our speaker just taught us to do. So thank you everyone. Thank you to everyone that asked questions. Thank you to everyone that stayed with us till this point. Um, we're happy you stayed with us and we're glad. Our webinar will still come up next month, and I hope you will join us to learn a lot too. Thank you and God bless you. At this point, I would say a quick goodbye to everyone. And I also want to appreciate Aisha. Honestly, Aisha came through my screen. I don't know what is wrong with this. I'm a host, but I can't share the screen. But Aisha came through with helping me to share the screen. So I really appreciate. God bless you. God bless everyone. So bye. This is 5 o'clock. So bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you
Yeah, bye
for
everyone.
having
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mark. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.